Have we done enough? Well, that's always a big question, isn't it? You know, and you always want more done. You always want to sort of make good progress, and productivity is so important. As I said before, once we've got these laid and it's gone off, it will allow us to walk on it and put that track saw, that little TC125, the ruby one, on a track saw nice and parallel. We'll be able to cut it all the way down nice and neat without any staggered ends, so it'll just line up perfectly. It'll be spot on, hopefully. So we're at that time now where we've laid the majority of the pavers and we've got to do our cutting. And it's a bit of a laborious task, but it's just something that's got to be done. It's always good just to brush some of the dirty water off before you remove it, and always remember just to make sure there's no fragments of any porcelain, because it will cut your hand. So important that when you're using a saw like this is don't just rely on the blade and just don't rely on the porcelain. You've got to make sure that you pull through parallel, nice and even, and then when you get towards the end, then drop down with the blade cutting through. Same on the other side, and it will take the tension out of the porcelain and avoid it snapping. This is what happens sometimes when we're not familiar with tools. So what we want is, you can clearly see that there's a red marker on the inside there, which is an indicator that that was on there, like so. But you've got to, what I would do is take a picture before you take these things apart, and then you can actually see how it's working and how it all goes back together. And you can see the washer on here lines up with that little mark around there. If you can just see that little mark, that little water mark or rust mark from whatever you've been using, and then we just tighten up on here like so. And we remember, I made the mistake again, it's a left-handed thread, so there we are. it goes up, and the left-handed thread will ensure that that blade won't come off and it will just self-tighten. So there we are. And what we can do with this, and I've been told, there we are, nearly there. Nearly, hold on 1 second, a bit more. There we are. When it starts to tighten up, we can just tighten it. There's no way that that blade can actually turn around now or even come off. So there we are. And then this little tool can just go straight back in its place, straight in there, like that. It's as easy as that, but it's in its place now. There you go. And you've got this little spanner with it as well. Just get that in. We'll make sure that's, there we are, in place. And you've got this little spanner as well that comes with it, and that goes up through there. There we are. If you look at the saw now, this shuts over on here. You've got the little guard here, and what I've actually done, and I've got to get, there you are, I've had a fair old use out of this, is I broke the locking piece on this, and that was my fault. So this is for the plunge facility, and there we are. You can see the measurements on here. And what I tend to do is I'll go through, you can bring the camera to me now, mate. What I tend to do is I'll go through several passes. I won't try and cut through. And the good thing about this is that when the porcelain is stuck in the ground like it is now, bedded in, the likelihood that you're not going to get that tension, it's not going to crack. But as a safeguard, when we go down, just go down just a little bit at a time. You've got 20 mil, so you could go through it in 3 passes. And remember, it's a long pass, nearly 5 or 6 meters. So, you know, it's quite a distance. Just be easy with your tools. Just make sure that you don't get carried away. Again, this is what I said, is that what we also got to do, now I've got the saw out now, I didn't clean it off before when I used it. I can give this a good clean now when it's out, and when I finish today, I'm going to make sure that this is sparkling. Cheers, Rich. These cases are absolutely brilliant for this slim set system here. There we are. Got another 3, so that takes us 6 meters. The only thing that we haven't got, is we haven't got no more. They've got these little compartments here for your tools there. Look, these are great. These are fantastic. This holds everything in place when you're using your ruby, but you won't be able to use it on the ground in this situation. Make sure that is back on. These Velcro tops here. There you are, another one of those. Let's have a look here. Again, we've got that. So we've got 2 of those. Okay, got 2 of those, which is great for when you're cutting your slab on top. But unfortunately, we haven't got no more suction cups, which is a bit of a pain. But we're going to need 2 of these at least. But we have got 3 here. Look at those. Absolutely fantastic product. Ruby Slim set. Make sure the gap's closed on there. There we go. And this is what the little TC125 is going to run all the way along here in one go. But before we do that, as I said to you, we've got to try and ensure that things are exactly right. So we're just going to push that in, just that little bit on there. There we go. There we go. Just there now. Now, there we are. Now we can do this up, and that's going to hold in place there. It's a great little system. Hold on. No, it needs to go. There we are, in place. You can see the ruby on there. No face. We are just washing down some of our picture frames. You can see the ones where I was rushing, but we can use those for cuts anyway, so it doesn't matter. But just trying to give everything a good clean off before we finish. But they do look nice. They're great contrast to this grey porcelain. So just want to make sure, on a new trip then, just want to make sure it's all nice and clean for our customers before we go home. It's no good just leaving it in a mess. Got to clean up every day and we can see where we're going now. Well, this side is being washed down and brushed up, and we got the Ruby Slim kit there. Well, so I was going to say is at least it's been washed down and it's clean. That's the most important thing. But I want to show you this edge here. Look how good we've got that cutting straight. So important. You can do this at the end of the day, but if you do it as you go, what you're doing is making sure that the mortar is fully packed in on the edge of your slabs here, making sure you've got a full solid bed. Look at that, and that's what I would look at that. That's perfect. So we spoke about this time and time again. It's so important to keep repeating the story because eventually people will start getting it. What you need to do, okay, and this is in my opinion, just go online, check it out. And we spoke about it so many times, and it's obvious to some people, but it's not obvious to everyone. What you want to be able to do, your mortar, you should be able to form a ball like that. That's exactly how you want it, okay? And maybe a little bit more moisture, but what happens is by reducing the amounts of water in your mortar that you're laying your slabs on, you're not going to have problems later on, like mineral deposits. And what happens is that when you get moisture in your mortar bed, if it's been mixed with too much water, you get a lot of voids, almost like an aero bar. And what happens is the water can get in amongst it, the moisture gets in it, condensation builds up, and then you get the deposits, the mineral deposits. But if you've got a solid compressive product like that, okay, that's what it is. That's its mass. It doesn't get any smaller generally. But can you imagine if you had a wet mix now, okay? If you had a wet mix and that was to evaporate, the moisture was to evaporate, you're going to be left with a product that is not so dense. You got to think of your mortar almost being like a block paving brick. That block paving bricks are made with compressive strength, and that's what you want in your mortar. So important to remember. That's how you need it. So now we're lining our slabs up, and all the cuts have to be on the left hand side. We're just marking these down here. Just got to sharpen the pencil now and bring it round on here. So there we are, there's the path. You can see a nice curve on that. It's almost like laying those 10x5 curbs, but that's looking good. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11, 12 slabs to cut. We'll get those done and they'll be ready for the morning. Got some sand coming today, so we can get those laid tomorrow and get that path in. So perfect there, but you can just see where it comes in there on the other edge of the slab. So we've got to create, there's about 1.5 mil there, but we want 3 mil. Right, well, this now is what I regard as the perfect mix. Look, it's semi-dry and it does hold and it forms together, but it is perfect. And the reason it's perfect is that it's got compressive strength. Well, I've talked about this so many times. It's so sad to see so many patios being laid across the country where the mixes are just so wet. You see it all the time, and even by the ones that we regard as being professionals, and they haven't thought about this bit, this semi-dry, which is, that's why they put screeds in houses, because it's got compressive strength, and that's why it lasts. When you start using all that water in mixes, and you see even on YouTube, you see a lot of those guys out there, they're using wet mixes. I'm not saying it's going to fail, but it has its disadvantages, okay? And this is, in my opinion, the best way to do it. Well, it's nice and cool down here today. We've had some rain overnight and this morning. No paddling, just a little bit of water tension on the edges, but all good. So important that we've had to wash this again, as I've explained, and I'll explain it again, because people will pick up this video at certain points and they'll question why I've washed it down again and I'm grouting. We've put very minimal amount of water on here. We can't help it. It's been raining this morning, so we can't help that. But what we're doing now, we're making sure that we dry the joints by pushing the water through the edges. The ground on the outside is actually lower than the paving, so the water will run out. It won't sit in there in the joints when we're washing. once we've dried off. So I'm going to start over this side, start drying this little piece off here now, and then Alison will be able to carry on drying the patio whilst I start the grouting, but you'll be able to see the process. Right, okay, so have a look at this. This is probably how I want it, okay? Have a look at that now. Just have a look. So that's what we're looking for, okay? Always make sure you've got those buckets nearby. There you go. That's down there. I think we are good to go. You can actually see on one part there we have got a little bit of lipping, but that's because we had a change in direction of paving, and to be honest, a 1 mil change, a piece of lipping is not so bad. It's not exactly a trip hazard. So there we are. Look at that, a twig again. We got to watch this sort of thing. So this is the thing that I was actually talking about. When we actually think about choosing our slab or our porcelain product, okay, we actually got to think, look how fast you can actually come down here. I think we'll get on quite fast today, hopefully if the rain holds off. I hope so. So when you're choosing your slab, think about the grouting and how long it's going to take. When you're using these 1.2s by 600, you know, you can get quite a bit done. So let's crack on. No more footage for a while. I'm saying, if you get up and film me, look at that from there. So say 3, 2, 1 and I'll go.
3, 2, 1.
I'm actually enjoying, are you filming?
Yeah.
That's right. I'm actually enjoying the way you're filming this morning because it's fast and furious. People can actually pick up on things. They can actually see me working. They can ask their questions, and there's nothing hidden, no hidden agendas on it.
Hey, should we do a live? Should we go live?
I thought about going live.
Should we do it?
Yeah, we can do it. Yeah. But
Okay.
you're going to ask a question, for goodness sake.
I will now.
There we go.